Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys the first perspective on things and how we see them. Folks, put on your seatbelts for this one because we got a crazy show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So as you guys know, all hell is breaking loose right now on Capitol Hill because we're pretty much heading towards the Jeffrey Epstein files being fully released. Now, over 22,000 documents were released over the last few days, and it's not been good. And this whole Epstein thing is something that it's a story that's just not going away for President Trump. It picked up a lot of steam a number of months ago where the administration was under a lot of pressure to release the files, but somehow, some way they found a way around it, and they were able to just kind of skirt the issue, and other things came up. But then something very important happened. Adelita Grijalva was actually sworn in, and it was an important thing by Mike Johnson. It was a very important thing because she was the final vote that would actually trigger a vote. For them to release the files. And what has happened is that it seems to be a bipartisan initiative where both Democrats and Republicans want these files released. Well, one person that seems to be unhappy about all of this is none other than Stephen A. Smith. And he took the opportunity to go on his show, Straight Shooter, to absolutely rip the Democrats for pushing for the release of the Epstein files, all in an attempt to protect Donald Trump. Now, some of you are like, there's no way Stephen A. Smith did this. Folks, that's exactly what he did on this show. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I want you guys to sit down and listen to this one because he said a lot. I want you guys to listen to it, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith's comments here.
But the Dems ain't innocent in all of this. Not by a damn sight. Speaking of the Epstein files, Representative Adelita Grijalva, she was a guest on this show. She was sworn in this afternoon. And she spoke about the Epstein files because ABC News came out with a story today linking Trump to the Epstein files because Jeffrey Epstein, seen during emails or via emails, essentially alluded to the fact that Trump knew about the girls, whatever that means, without specificity. Adelita Grijalva spoke about that because obviously once she's sworn in, she's the final deciding vote for the Epstein files to be opened and essentially given to the public, supposedly. And here she is today on the House floor speaking about it. Griff, play cut 5.
Just this morning, House Democrats released more emails showing that Trump knew more about Epstein's abuses than he previously acknowledged. It's past time for Congress to restore its role as a check and balance on this administration and fight for we, the American people. We need to fight for our immigrant communities and veterans. We need to stand up for our public schools, children, and educators. We need to respect tribal sovereignty in our environment. We need to stand up for LGBTQ+ rights because that's what the American people expect us to do. Fight for them. That is why I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files.
Y'all cool with that? I have no problem with the Epstein files being exposed. I think anybody who's done what Jeffrey Epstein did should be thrown under the damn jail. They should spend the rest of their natural-born life in prison if he was alive to do it. Young girls being sexually molested is as disgusting as it gets. It is as vile as it gets. We ain't making any excuses for anybody like that. What a despicable, despicable human being. There's a special place in hell for people like that. But that's not what anybody can definitively associate the president with. He knew Epstein, so did Bill Clinton. So did a plethora of other famous people inside and outside the world of politics. Incriminating emails, well, what specifically and how significant was it? And when we sit up there as Democrats and we're applauding on the House floor, now that Alita Grijalva was there talking about she'll be the final vote to sit up there and open the Epstein files, and everybody's applauding for the Democratic Party. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and free to have been opened during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then? What am I missing? I'm not saying I know. It's a legitimate question. Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break. But from my understanding, the same files that were open or being open now with the 220 pages of documents or whatever it is, with various emails, that could have been done when Biden was in office. Well, why didn't you do it? If it's so important now. What were the Democrats doing at that particular moment in time? See, this is the kind of stuff that smells. Because my attitude is just deducing how much they despise Trump is if there was some real bona fide dirt on him, since you went after him with the 34 felony convictions, which essentially was deduced to him paying hush money to Stormy Daniels, a porn star, just so she wouldn't reveal their happenings with one another leading up to the election in 2016. Okay? If you had something like that you were willing to parade him through the streets with, of course, if you had something on him about Epstein, you'd have let it go earlier to make sure he didn't become the 47th president. That's just my thinking from a logical perspective. But what do I know? Either way you slice it, when that kind of stuff is going on, all it does is foster the continual divide that is inevitably going to exist. One side hates each other so much that neither side is willing to negotiate and work with one another until desperate times means desperate measures. And the American people are the ones that suffer first, and they're the ones that suffer the most before the residual collateral impact is truly, truly felt. That's the damn problem. And even with the end of this shutdown taking place, I still find myself thinking, more the same, ain't nothing new.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Now, he said something, I think at the tail end of his comments. He said, what am I missing? What am I missing? Is what he said. And I think Stephen A. Smith is missing a critical component of this entire story. He said, why didn't Biden and them push to have these files released? Why is it happening now all of a sudden when Trump is president? Here's what Stephen A. Smith seems to be missing. Donald Trump, while campaigning, said he would release the Epstein files when he took office. He himself said that. Do you know who else also supported him for that? His supporters, his base. It's the reason why they were so upset when the president was chastising his own base for wanting transparency on the issue. The reason MAGA and whoever it is, these people that support Trump, were upset with him is because this is something that they deem to be important. And the president campaigned on it. He said he would do it. So when he got into office and he now seems to be reluctant on doing the very thing that he said he would do, his own constituents are calling him out on it. That's the first thing. Now, he brought up a point about the Democrats using this as a way to attack Donald Trump. I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is aware of this, but it's a bipartisan initiative. there are also Republicans that are silently silently planning to vote on the release of the Epstein files because they themselves believe in transparency. And there are reports out there that the president, or rather the White House, is putting pressure on them that if you do vote for the files to be released, you will not have any support heading into the midterms. But then you've had some conservative members of the government saying, no, look, you may get support in the long term, but that's always going to be on your record. So what happens when Trump leaves? It's always going to be on your record that you voted against the release of the Epstein files. They need this thing to work also with cooperation from the Republicans. So that's the reason why I'm stumped by Stephen A. Smith's comments, making it seem like it's just a Democratic initiative. Now, I'll say this. Do the Democrats want this information to come out that would hurt Trump? Absolutely. But here's something else he seems to be missing, because he says, what am I missing? Is Stephen A. Smith also aware that they may be some Democrats that may be named in these files, like Bill Clinton or the Clintons? Is he aware of that too? Is he also aware of the fact that Democrats, knowing that other Democrats may be dragged into this mess, are still willing to go ahead and do it? Do you know why? Because a lot of them feel like there's just no room to defend pedophiles. There's just no room for it in government. So for me, I'm confused why Stephen A. Smith seems to be taking this position on this issue. Really, I am. And I think the reason Stephen A. Smith is doing this is because he just wants to keep on grifting. It seems like as if he's more concerned about politics than transparency. Literally. It's almost like as if transparency is like an afterthought. And he's engaging in a whole lot of whataboutisms. Well, wait, he did this. What about these guys? They did this, but what about those guys? It's like, really? That's your predisposition, or that's your disposition to this issue? This is what you're focused on? And what's happening is that he's on an island. He's on an island. The only people that don't want these files to come out are maybe people within the Trump administration. Maybe them. But outside of that, most Americans do. Most Americans do. Even people that voted for Trump want this information out there. So Stephen A. Smith is almost talking like as if he's running, he's like a spin doctor for the White House. That's literally what he sounds like. Literally what he sounds like. I just be confused by the positions that Stephen A. Smith takes on issues, especially political issues. I'm very, very confused. Very confused. But hey, this is just my take on things. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments when we catch you on the next show. I'm out. Peace.